Good morning. So today is Saturday, May 16th, and I want to welcome you to another vlog. I'm trying something a little bit different as a bit of a sound check this morning. I am recording outside as a sound check for my sermon service that I will be doing for next week. I'm going to try to pre-record and do it outside and just see how the audio works and if the sounds of the birds are too much and too distracting or not. But yeah, so I'm Heather. I'm the knitting pastor. I am a United Methodist pastor of 2 small member congregations in rural mid-Michigan, and I live in a parsonage, which is a home owned by one of my churches, near one of them, with my 2 kids, Abby and Philip, who are 14 and 10. And now somebody's going to start mowing the lawn because I came out here to record, which is not ideal, which is what I tried to do in the morning. So what this is a vlogcast. For those of you who are just checking me out for the first time, thank you for joining me. For those of you who are coming back, thank you for coming back. When I say this is a vlogcast, what I mean by that is that it is a video where it's not a podcast where I just sit down and record all at once, but it's really composed more of shorter snippets throughout the course of the week. You kind of get an insight into my life, into my ministry, all of those sorts of things. So I hope you enjoy that. And again, if you're coming back, thank you for coming back. I usually do start them out by just sitting down and recording a longer video where I just kind of talk about what has been going on in the past week and show you some of my knitting. So the past week was my last week of classes, so I was writing papers and getting those submitted, and I turned those in yesterday on Friday, and it feels amazing to have that done. And next week, this coming week, I'm trying to take the week off and have a bit of vacation, but it's really a staycation, which I really need as kind of a bit of downtime to pause and kind of recharge a little bit from all that has been going on. So I'm looking forward to doing that and just having a lot of making time, a lot of time hanging out with my kids and that sort of thing. So that is what has been going on. Not anything super exciting, no major changes as far as pandemic type stuff happening, because we are still in a pandemic, we are still in lockdown. Michigan has over 50,000 cases of COVID-19 right now, so we are one of the states that's got a little bit of a stricter set of rules. We are still in lockdown, and we have been since like March 15th. So it's been quite a while, but we're doing okay here. We're all healthy, we're staying in, we're still getting outside and getting exercise as the weather permits, so we're still doing all of those things. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about knitting, and I apologize if this feels really rushed. It is very awkward to be recording this outside on my back porch. So, I apologize if it's rushed. So, I have a finished object this week to show you. Oh, first of all, what I'm wearing. I am wearing a shawl because it's a little bit chilly outside this morning. It's about 55, so a little cool. But I am wearing my Birds of a Feather shawl by Andrea Mowry. Which is knit with fingering weight and mohair. So you have normally fingering weight and then a mohair section. And it is perfect for what I am doing right now. So I'm really, really glad of that. But let me show you what I finished. And it is my Color Craze shawl by Tamy, Gore. And I did finish this past week, and it is blocked, and it's finished. And here it is. I very much enjoyed this knit immensely. I cannot say enough good things about it. It was perfect for pandemic type knitting because it's a lot of garter stitch, but then there's a little tiny bit of brioche. And while it's a lot of garter, you're changing colors pretty frequently, and it's a really versatile pattern, so you can make it however you want it to be. I just used a skein of undyed yarn as my main color, and then just used minis that I had lying around to create the rest of the effects. So, and you could use as many or as few colors as you would like. I would say you would want 2 colors at least, especially for the brioche section, but I mean, you could do it with, just 2 different colors if you wanted to. So anyway, I very much enjoyed this knit, and I would really recommend it because it is just it's very cathartic, and it's very much kind of what I think people need right now. And then after I was done with that, I cast on the Pebble Tunic by Locatelli, and I've not gotten very far. I'm working on the back portion, and so that is what this is. The yarn that I am using is from Knit Picks, and it's their CotLin yarn, which is a cotton linen blend, and this colorway is called Crest. And I wanted just something that was going to be inexpensive to knit, but I wanted it to be a lighter weight and not made out of wool, so that it could be something that I could wear in the spring and even in the summer, because sometimes in Michigan the summer isn't all that warm, and especially if you're inside in air conditioning, having long sleeves can be really nice. So I wanted something a little bit lighter, which is why I went with this. I do want to say though, so I treated myself to like a Mother's Day birthday gift, and I finally went and I bought the Stanwood ball winder, the jumbo one, because I have had this crappy plastic one for so long, and it made me just really frustrated when I would when I would ball yarn, and it drove me nuts. And so I got it this week, and that's what I used to cake this yarn up, and I caked up another one. But look at this. It's like a perfect caked skein of yarn. It took me a fraction of the time, and it did not make me crazy trying to do it. So it was not a cheap investment, but it was really worth it. So I'm really glad that I decided to do that. Alright, well, I think that's going to be it here for my little sound check. So I'm going to sign off for now. You will see me popping in and out throughout the week. Abby is with me for the next 2 weeks because I won't go into the details, but basically they're having to self-quarantine. Nobody has symptoms, but there was a potential exposure. So they are self-quarantining for 2 weeks, which means she's staying with me. So she'll be here, which is another reason why I'm recording outside, because she's still asleep, and I didn't want to wake her up and have her come out and be like, "What are you doing, Mom?" So she'll be around for the next couple of weeks, and of course Philip will be around too, and I'll just kind of bring you along with what we get up to as I get to have a little bit of time off. So I will talk with you all a little bit later. So I have finished doing church in a slightly new way, where I recorded myself, prior to the service, and I recorded outside, and so I am just finishing putting together and editing that. This is for next Sunday, but I'm pretty happy with how this has turned out. I hope that it is something that my congregations like, and they're able to see kind of the ability that, I can do things like put in hymns and the quality is better, and then they can see the lyrics for them, changing images during prayer time, actually putting the Lord's Prayer on the screen for people who don't know it, and just kind of overall incorporating music in a much better way. So I'm optimistic that this is going to work out well going forward. We'll see after next week how it goes. Hello. So it's Sunday morning, May 17th. I am done recording my live service on Facebook, and now I have a couple of things that I want to finish up before I think I'm ready to kind of kick back and just enjoy the rest of the week and have a bit of off time, some time to myself, which I'm very, very much looking forward to. And so I'm gonna take a little bit of a break here, knit a little bit, maybe watch some podcasts, and then get those things done so that I can just kind of kick back a little bit. But I did want to show you, so I've I've been working on my Pebble Tunic by Locatelli. I don't know if I said that that's who it was by, but I have finished the top part of the back, and I have now picked up the stitches, and I am now working on the front. We're not in the round yet, but it's hard to show with one hand because it's kind of in a funky setup, but it's coming along. I am enjoying working with this yarn quite a bit. I like how it is knitting up. I think I'm really gonna be pleased with this when this is all said and done. So that's my plan, is to be working on that this week, and we'll see how far I get with having just kind of one knitting project and free time. That could be done because this yarn is DK weight, and so it's not a super slow process. I know that the 4th pattern from the Handmade Sock Society is coming out on Tuesday, and I may cast that on Tuesday or not. I'm not sure what I will do yet. I think it will really depend a lot on how this is coming along, and if I want something patterned or if I just want to keep doing the stockinette. So yeah, that is all for now. So I'm gonna watch something, knit a little bit, and then finish up what I need to do. Happy Monday. It is Monday, May 18th, and it is the first day of a week off for me. Some time to rest and relax and recharge. It is a very rainy and gloomy Monday morning, which seems like perfect excuse to spend the day doing some knitting and maybe some sewing and some reading as well. So it is now Tuesday night, May 19th, and after having a rocky start to my week off yesterday, today went a little bit better, although it's been really rainy and gloomy, and that's not been super great, but it's supposed to be nice tomorrow, so I think the kids and I are probably gonna try to go for like a walk or a run or something like that because the weather should be decent. But I did want to show you my progress that I've been making on my Pebble Tunic. I have joined together for the body now, and I'm starting to work on the body, and so here it is. I am really enjoying it. I really am liking how this yarn is turning out. And I debated about alternating skeins or not. Because it is a commercially dyed yarn from Knit Picks, and so I was like, should I alternate skeins or not? And I did knit like the first part of like before I joined the body, the front on one skein and then the back on another skein, and I can't tell, like, I can't tell a difference between when, like, so the front, I think, yeah, the front is the same, but if I turn it around to the back, like, I can't tell where the skein changed. Maybe a tiny bit, maybe, but I don't think it's very obvious how it changed. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna alternate skeins. I'm almost done with the first skein. This is what I have left. So, and then I still have like half of the other skein. So maybe, I don't know, maybe I will cake up the other one and knit the rest of it, alternating skeins, but I don't really think I need to, because I can't really tell like there is that much of a difference with them. Like maybe it's slightly less speckled, maybe, but I don't really see like a major difference between the top and the bottom. So I think I'll just kind of forge on as I am and see how it goes. I'm not sure that I need to be changing skeins because I really can't tell like a big difference, and I'm just rambling, so I probably should stop. So anyway, that is my progress on my Pebble Tunic, and it is late now and I'm gonna go to bed. So I will check in with you guys probably sometime tomorrow. There'll be some kind of video happening tomorrow. I don't know what it will be, but I think I need to stop now and go to sleep. So I ordered this like almost 2 weeks ago, and it finally came today. This is for the next pair of socks from Helen Stewart's Handmade Sock Society, and it is this beautiful periwinkle skein of yarn from Legacy Fiber Arts. It's called Hydrangea, and it is I am really excited to cast on the socks with this. So I'm not sure if I will skein it up tonight or do it tomorrow, but yeah, I am really excited with how beautiful that is. So it's now Sunday, May 24th, and it is Memorial Day weekend, which I completely didn't realize that it was Memorial Day weekend until like a couple of days ago, because we live and everything is so surreal right now with the pandemic that it's so easy to lose track of what day it is, what week it is, what's going on, and all of those things. And I definitely did that with it being Memorial Day weekend. Not that it matters at all, because there's not, I mean, what are we going to do for Memorial Day weekend? Still can't really do anything. So, I don't know. But it is Memorial Day weekend, and I thought I would just take a few moments and wrap up the vlog for the week. I did somewhat manage to kind of detach from all of the drama with reopening church and all of that. It was a little bit hard because there are certainly some people in the congregation that don't really want to respect my boundaries in that regard. And they do it in a very public way that it looks like, even though they've ignored like the 4 or 5 different ways I've said that I'm going to be taking this week off, they do it in a way that looks like if I don't respond, I'm ignoring them. So it's a little frustrating. So I had a couple of days where I could just lay it all aside and not think about it. And then the president went and said that churches needed to reopen, and that happened. And fortunately our bishop issued a statement that said, don't reopen based on politics. And reopen isn't a word that I like to use anyway, because the church is open. The church is not a building. The church is a group of people. And we don't need to be in a building to continue to be the church. We don't need to be in person to worship. We don't need to physically be together to continue to do what we're supposed to be doing. So that was a little bit frustrating, and I'm going to have to kind of address some of those issues going into the week coming up. But there were some nice moments in the week, and I definitely was able to get some knitting done, get some reading done on books that are not related to church, which was kind of nice, and just give myself more moments to not stress too much about it, because I tell you what, the decision to gather together again in person is definitely taking its toll on me. It definitely weighs on me quite a bit, and I have certainly lost sleep over it. And it is not something that I'm taking lightly, because I want to protect my congregations as best as I can. So, yeah. So it wasn't quite as nice of a break as I had hoped it would be, but it was still a break, and that was good. And I was able to try something new with worship that I'm going to keep trying, because that definitely, I liked doing it that way, and I'll hear from people what they thought. So let's wrap this up by showing you my knitting. I have been totally monogamous in my knitting, working on my Pebble Tunic by Locatelli. And I am almost to the part of the pockets. So here it is. I think that's the front. Yeah, that's the front. So here is the progress on my Pebble Tunic. It is supposed to be, it's an oversized tunic, so it will be long and kind of loose. There's quite a bit of positive ease with it, and so I'm really, really enjoying knitting this, and I think it's really going to be a nice lightweight piece, because the yarn that I'm using is from Knit Picks. It's called CotLin, and it is a cotton linen blend, so it's a nice lightweight yarn. The colorway that I'm using is called Crest, and I really like how it is knitting up. And I have not been alternating skeins, and I don't really think you can tell too much. It's been pretty consistent as I've been knitting it, and I think that was okay to not alternate skeins. I got a little concerned that if I did alternate skeins, it would make it look weirder than if I didn't, if that makes any sense. So yeah, so this is coming along. Like I said, there are 2 pockets that are on the front, and I am almost there. But then again, it's been that thing where it's like I need 1 more inch, and it doesn't feel like that inch ever comes. But I think that I have knit 11.5 inches, and I need to do like 1 more inch at this point. So yeah, so this is the Pebble Tunic. It does have like a drop, I think it's called a drop shoulder. So the actual shoulder is like up here, but it kind of hangs down. I should have brought the pattern over and I could have shown you what it actually looks like, because I realize this kind of looks gigantic, but I think that it will lay nicely once it's done and actually on my body. So that is what I've been working on. That is it. I have not worked on anything else. However, I may be casting on a new pair of socks, like maybe not today, but like tomorrow, this week, because every time I start recording anything, he goes and gets a drink of water. Every time. No matter what, without fail. That's when he decides it is time to drink very loudly. So, dogs. Anyway, the fourth pattern of the Handmade Sock Society Season 3 came out, which is by Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade. They're the Cirrus socks, and so I printed it out. And this is the pattern and what the socks look like. And so I may be caking these up. I had intended to cake them, like to cast them on when the pattern came out on Tuesday, but the yarn that I had ordered had not arrived. And the post office, with all of the COVID-19 stuff, I know shipping can be really strange. And so I wasn't, I wanted my yarn, but I wasn't going to get too upset because I know that things are just weird. But finally, yesterday, it arrived, and I caked it up, and I showed you this. I showed you it, but it's from Legacy Fiber Arts, and it's their hydrangea colorway. And so this beautiful, beautiful color is going to become the Cirrus socks, which I think will be perfect. So this is ready to go. The Stanwood ball winder, guys, look at. I can't even tell you, because I fought with my other ball winder so much. So to have one that works really well. I have to do kind of a janky setup because the way I had it set up is they were like next to each other like this. And the way the Stanwood needs to be, you kind of need it to be like this. So I had to play with it a little bit, and my table is like kind of beveled, the edge. So my Swift doesn't attach to it because it's beveled. So that makes things extra complicated. So you will have seen, because I videoed winding this up, you will have seen how that goes with the way that I have to do it right now. But I'm not complaining because it's so much better. Oh my gosh. I can't, so much better. So I'm starting to get kind of rambly and talking about I don't know what. So I'm going to end this right now. And I will talk to you guys in a couple of weeks. I hope that you have a good Memorial Day weekend, that you are staying healthy, staying safe, and taking care of yourselves as best you can during this very strange time. So I will see you again in 2 weeks. Until then, happy knitting. Bye.